Hello again and welcome to Crime in Music. I'm your host Brian J. Kinsley, and with me as always, my friend, the reigning, defending, from parts unknown, the super heavyweight podcast host of the year, Ben Rubel.
Well, I had something to say. I thought it was good, but boy, that introduction really, I don't have anything to say now.
I'll do it every other Wednesday. This man and I bring you a true crime podcast about people in and around the music business and their misadventures into law breaking. If you like music history, which we're usually ranked about top 10 for podcasts overall, music history, crime history, murder mystery, and more, check us out at www.crimeandmusic.com or wherever you do your social media.
On the toilet.
Yeah, you can find us there sometimes, a couple times a day.
I think that there is a huge, if you go to talk to a proctologist, he's probably seen a spike in some of his different patients he's had to treat.
Oh, God.
With the roids.
With the phone just
well,
sitting
people
there.
now people hide in the bathroom at work on their phone to get out of work. It's not going out and take a cigarette break. It's going to the bathroom and fake poop, and they sit down on the toilet.
Take a phone break.
Take a fake poop break.
We've been discussing this since we were like grade school, high school, but a toilet seat is designed to sort of lift and separate,
It has a function.
So
It has a function.
it's not just a flat with a hole.
Yeah, and Squatty Potty took it to a whole new level. Not a sponsor.
I had a squatty potty for a little bit, like a block I just put in there just to try it. Apparently it's better for you.
Yeah, I don't know. They were a Shark Tank thing, right?
Yeah, well no, but if it works, right? Like human beings aren't, like you are an outdoorsman. You've been to the camping in the woods and whatnot. I mean, how many times you're like accidentally pissed on your pants when you're out there squatting,
I don't poop outside.
What?
I don't poop outside.
All these years?
I don't do it.
I can show you right over there is a customized bucket with toilet seat that I made for my wife when we went camping.
I don't do it. I'm in the middle of the woods, lean up against a tree and drop trout. No.
Let her rip.
Don't do it.
No. Wow.
I can just suck it up, man. I will be back to camp later tonight. I use a pit toilet at the campground. I will use one of our makeshift little bucket toilets. I use that.
All right.
But I'm not a guy that'll just
back up over log
Nope.
Hit the Bumper-Deuce.
Why did we start talking about this? That's a weird. Already got crime and music, everybody. We're going to talk about poop for a while. That's my fault.
I like Bumper-Deuce. I just think that's good. That's when you back up on a bumper and take a deuce. You gotta.
That could be somebody's good nickname. What's up, Bumper-Deuce?
Hey, Bumper-Deuce. All right. 25th caller, Bumper-Deuce.
All right.
Oh, by the way, guys, coming up pretty soon, we're going to have a live episode coming out, and then we'll have live episodes where you can call in.
So I'm pretty excited today, Brian.
Why are you excited, Ben?
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
It has been a while.
It's been a while.
I have not gotten to play my favorite game.
Are you ready to play?
Really, the only reason
game?
I ever show up.
I see. You're here for 1 minute of music.
One trivia question.
All right. Well, if you're ready to go, I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go. I am excited. It's been forever.
It's been a minute.
It's been. Well, I mean, the Elvis one, I knew it was Elvis episode. We knew you said, hey, we're doing a two-parter.
That's true.
No, I didn't know, but I did guess it.
You did guess it.
And there's some part of me that said we're going to do Elvis, but I didn't know because I remember re-listening to the podcast. But then the Juggalos episode, I knew that, or I'm going to know it.
It's off whatever in the future.
And then the second Elvis episode, I knew we were doing Elvis Part 2.
I suppose now
so I don't know what this is. I'm excited.
Knowing that it's out of order, I could have had you guess again, I suppose.
So actually, I do know because you said it was a dude already.
All right, it is a dude.
Yeah,
right.
Okay,
all right, we got some nicknames.
Free hint number 1. Nicknames. All right.
The Possum.
The Possum. George Jones.
Fucking hey. Wow, buddy. Woo.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Like, you got a minute 3 left. We didn't.
I know. I got the Possum.
Wow. How did you know that so fast?
I've heard that about. It's something when you said the Possum.
Holy
The
cow.
George Jones clicked in my head, so I must have heard that.
That's great, Art. I'm going to go through the rest of the nicknames just because I took the time to write them.
Not fake.
So.
This is not fake news.
No.
This is real. I did that for real.
We got the Possum, nailed it. That was like home run off the first pitch, man, right down the pipe.
It kind of looks like a possum.
Well, we'll get there. No Show Jones.
I think I could have gotten that one.
Yeah, Johnny Paycheck's best friend.
Nah, I wouldn't have known that was his best friend.
Tammy Wynette's husband.
I don't know their intimate relations.
He stopped loving her today.
I've gotten that.
Honky Tonk's greatest honky. George Jones.
That's funny.
I thought you'd like that.
The possum. You didn't think I'd get the possum.
I did not. That's why I put it first. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's an animal name where there's like a million things.
All right,
you know.
I'm marking up 2 for that. I get 2. I get 2 ticks.
That's 2.
It's
That's
like I hit that ball so far over the wall, they gave me 2 runs.
2 runs. There's a guy on second.
All right, what do we got on George Jones?
September 12th, 1931, born George Glenn Jones in Saratoga, Texas, USA.
Texas?
Born to parents Clara and George Washington Jones.
George Washington. I wonder who he was named after.
Maybe his dad. George had 1 brother and 5 sisters.
Ugh.
Well, I mean, he had 6 sisters, but we'll get there. George Washington Jones, his father, worked in the shipyards, played a harmonica and the guitar.
Shipyards? Again, didn't we have somebody who worked in the shipyards in Texas? I'm like, where are they making ships?
There's a Gulf, dude. There's a whole Gulf.
I guess.
I had this argument with my wife the other day. She's like, Houston's not on the coast. I'm like, okay.
Kinda.
Let's look at a map. Gulf of Mexico.
But I don't think of Texas being a shipbuilding state. It's more like Virginia.
Well, yeah, anyway.
All right.
So Clara, his mom, she played piano at the church on Sundays. So George comes from a musical family.
And his mom played the piano.
Yeah. During George's delivery, at the time of his birth, obviously, one of the doctors dropped him and broke his arm.
Ew!
Hey, I got your baby. Oh, God! I'm sorry.
They're a little slippery.
You got to admit, they're slippery when they first come out. Dropped him. All right. Apparently didn't affect him too much. Age 7, 1938, George's parents splurge and buy a radio.
Ooh. What year?
1938.
Okay.
George hears country music for the first time.
On the radio.
His family were big fans of
country.
The Grand Ole Opry.
Oh.
Age 9, 1940, George gets his first guitar from his dad. It's a Gene Autry style guitar. Gene Autry was a cowboy actor back in the day.
Was it like one of those kid guitars kind of a little bit?
I feel like it was because it had a picture of a cowboy and a horse on it.
I think so, yeah. I think they still make them today. I think you can still get that.
The Gene Autry guitar.
I think you can. It comes with a little music book, like a little zip-up case.
I think so. George didn't get a zip-up case with a book in it, though. He had to go to his Sunday school teacher to learn some chords. So they're like, here's G, C, and D. There you go.
That's all you need to know.
Go write some hits, buddy. He loved it, dude. He spent all of his time playing the guitar. You know, you've done it.
I hate the guitar.
Why is this?
I was trying to play it this morning.
I see.
Hey, G Money wants to start doing it again.
Oh, yeah?
He says he can only play chords now. He can't play lead guitar anymore.
Get the reunion tour going, man.
Yeah, I don't know. He might.
You think?
Yeah, I think he might.
No.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I think he could.
All
Not
right.
maybe a reunion tour, but
all right. I want to do one show at place, or at least 3 songs, while somebody else plays a proper show at place. But we're not good enough to play there, apparently.
We can all agree on that.
That's what I hear. Anyway, the glories of music past. George had an older sister, Ethel.
Ethel?
Don't look, Ethel. It's too late. She already looked. She died of fever, and 5 years before George was born. So, there you go. But around that time, George's dad, he starts drinking real heavy and being physically and emotionally abusive.
You know, back in the turn of
child.
the century, the 1900s, 1930, all the way through there, a lot of kids died in the first couple years of their life.
Yeah, survival rates were down.
Way down. Well, you go look through the old cemeteries. I remember doing that as a kid. There's a couple old cemeteries by, we ride our bikes. Go to the snack store, get some snacks. And
kid caskets are creepy.
They're sad. I mean,
that's a.
And you look at some of these family plots, and a ton of these people didn't even have names. They just said like Baby Smith and stuff.
Yeah.
It's because even today, a bunch of kids should be dying, but we have
vaccination.
We have medical. No. Even before vaccinations,
we're back to the vaxxers.
My kid would be dead. Be dead right now.
Oh,
if it wasn't for medical stuff. I gotcha. I mean,
that was just an appendix, wasn't it?
Well, it blew up, and they had him put a bunch of antibiotics in him. Without antibiotics, he'd be dead. Dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
Well, Ethel did not make it.
Oh, she didn't have antibiotics. The fever.
So George's dad became a drinker. Got all, that was kind of his thing. So what he would do was he'd stumble home from the bar.
At least he had an excuse. My kids don't.
Do you do this to your kids?
No.
You stumble home from the bar with your buddies and wake them up and make them play guitar and sing for you? If not, they get a beating?
Nobody gives me an idea.
It's like, don't answer. We'll edit that.
More feeling.
That's terrible. You'd think that would make him shy away from singing, but he actually got really good at it.
I bet he did.
So really quickly. Because he had natural talent, George was sent to play on the streets of Beaumont, Texas, out there to busk for money and
Busking,
help the family.
Yes. Yep.
He's out there busking in his teens. In his teens, George was performing at local dive bars, and at age 16, George leaves home for Jasper, Texas. He's like, fuck it, I'm going to do this on my own.
Wow, all the way to Jasper.
Yeah. Have you been there to Jasper?
I think I have. I don't know where it's at on a map, though. It's not that far, I'm sure.
He got a job singing and playing backup guitar for a radio program, so he's on the radio.
Okay, wow.
Like Merle. And
I feel like the radio back then, there were a lot of smaller little stations. It wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed yet by George Jones.
No, you shouldn't.
Bring it, George.
He worked at KRIC in Beaumont, Texas.
Oh, crick.
This is when he met his idol, Hank Williams.
Oh,
senior,
yeah.
Not junior.
Yeah, senior. Of course, senior.
Hank was traveling through town promoting shows, and George was in there playing backup guitar, and he's like,
Hank.
oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just stared at him for a while. Still in his teens, in 1950, George marries Dorothy Bonnevillian.
Dorothy
Bonnevillian.
How many French names do we have of... Didn't Elvis's wife have some French-sounding name?
Bibolio.
French women.
Bolio, yeah.
They don't shave their armpits, you know.
That's gross. You know, that wasn't a thing until the 1930s for women in America either.
Really?
Yeah, when the guys came back from World War I, the razor companies were like, we need to sell more razors, and we're not selling them to any women, so let's tell them that French women shave their pits and legs, even though they didn't, and still don't. And so that's how the marketing campaign started.
Huh.
Yep.
All right.
Lies. I mean, I totally appreciate it because that's gross to me. But
would it be gross if you knew nothing else?
Well, no, that's the thing, like, where I fear of not existing, but it's like, you don't exist, do you really care? Like,
well, even with the things that women do, that it does improve their looks, like the makeups and the hairs and the fingernails, and all that stuff that guys don't do nearly as much of. On a whole, I'm not saying
that's true. No.
You know, we sometimes will comb our hair.
I'm primping,
but I've never worn makeup.
Yeah, right.
If the girls didn't do that, you wouldn't know any better. You'd still be out trying to find girls.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I do know better, thankfully, and we grew up in this age.
Yeah, y'all ruined it for yourselves.
Oh,
now we expect you to look perfect all the time.
Now you got to maintain.
Do you think you get fake butt implants if you're a girl?
I would not. No.
I think it's more popular than you think.
I think it is more popular than I think, but I don't like. All right, I guess we'll get into it. All right, see, the thing, I used to like the Kardashians, that look and stuff, and I used to like Sofia Vergara, but then it went to an extreme, like, where it's unnatural. You look good in clothes, but to look at you naked, I'd think someone photoshopped you, like, not in a good way, like, made your hips too small and your waist too skinny. I don't know. It just looks like a weird art concept of a human being, not like a normal person.
Carved a doll and
right.
accentuated the extreme.
Right. You don't need that either.
Beyond the extreme.
Look at J-Lo. That lady's 50 years old, and oh my God, that's perfect body type. Look at that girl. I don't think she has any implants or anything like that.
You're being kind of misogynistic here, but I like women for their personalities, for their brains.
But she's also a talented dancer. That's why I like her. But
okay, again, you're just
artists.
You're focusing on more of her looks, Brian.
What did the Kardashians do of any substance, Ben?
I'm not telling you I like them.
See? So all I'm saying is I'm picking
a
talented dancer.
Hold on. Kim Kardashian's a lawyer now, isn't she?
She's in law school.
Well, and her dad, I think she's taken over the lawyer business in the family.
I don't know that I'd want her to represent me.
She's got a high-profile name. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe Kanye's got some issues coming up that they're getting ready for. Like, all this legal defense, so just marry a lawyer.
Oh, they don't need
I'll just become one.
Yeah. All right. George
Jones marries his Dorothy lady in 1950, right?
Yeah.
1951, George divorces Dorothy.
Sounds like it got a little bit past the honeymoon stage.
Well, she was 6 months pregnant at the time.
Ooh.
George is jailed twice for non-payment of support.
He went to jail for it?
Well,
is this before he was big, though?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not.
Yeah, nothing.
George enlists in the United States Marines to avoid further jail time. So he's stationed in San Jose, California, and discharged in 1953.
So he was in the Marines?
Yes.
Right after the war?
Yes. 53.
It's okay. It's a safe time to be a Marine, I guess.
Pretty much a good time. You guys are done with that war, huh? Sign me up.
I'm in.
What, I got to build roads? Okay. 1954, George gets married again. He marries Shirley Ann Corley.
Another Shirley.
Well, no,
we had a Shirley back in the last episode.
Yes.
There's a girl named Shirley. Don't call me Shirley.
Don't call me Shirley. You can't be serious. George is working at KTRM in Beaumont. So working around the radio station still, or back at that after the rains. And George gets the nickname Possum, which you just nailed right off the bat.
So where'd that come from?
This guy he worked with, DJ Slim Watts, took to calling George P. Williker, Picklepuss, Possum Jones.
Oh, so he just gave him a bunch of goofy little names.
Right. And when asked why, Slim said, quote, "For one thing, he cut his hair short like a possum's belly. He had a possum's nose and stupid eyes like a possum."
It's like Howard Stern show.
Yep. I thought that was great. It's possum's nose and stupid eyes.
Stupid eyes.
Like a possum.
Because, as we all know, possums have stupid eyes.
The stupidest of eyes.
Oh, my gosh.
You see that stupid-eyed possum over there? Not that one.
What animal in the animal kingdom has the stupidest eyes?
Lemur.
Possum.
I see. It's possum.
No, it's possum.
No, possums are good. You're apparently not supposed to kill or get rid of possums because they eat like 200 ticks a day.
Yeah, they are like tick magnets.
Right.
And then they groom themselves.
They don't ever get rabies, and they're not aggressive towards people.
I don't know that they don't get rabies.
I'm pretty sure I read that on a meme, which doesn't mean it's true, but...
No, they don't get Lyme's disease.
It was in a meme.
They don't get Lyme's disease. So they attract all the ticks, at which then they groom and eat them.
I see.
I don't kill possums.
I don't kill possums,
no.
I kill groundhogs, though.
Well, only if they're in my yard digging under my barn or something.
I got one who tries to live under my front porch there, and so I've shoot it out a couple times. I'll show you those videos if you want.
I don't know.
It ran to the neighbor's yard, now it lives underneath their porch.
I have it, so I don't even know. You might have to bleep this whole story.
I feel bad for that. But...
This is a bad story.
Oh, good story. I like it. Story time.
So if anybody wanted to hate me more, here's a reason.
How could we?
This is I feel bad for this story.
Seriously.
No, I'm a hunter. I'm a meat eater. I don't kill things. I don't eat. But this groundhog, I can't even tell a story.
You clubbed a groundhog. Is that where we're going?
Oh, it's worse than that.
My wife did that with a shovel out back after my dog snapped its neck.
I tried that. That's where I started.
Uh-oh.
It ended up with pitchforks.
Oh, no.
That still didn't work. It went to a drowning.
Oh, no.
It was in our flower bed, which is not like out in the yard. It's right up
by the house.
In the house,
by the house,
by the front stairs. And this thing burrowed down. So I dug it out, and it wouldn't come out of this hole. I mean, I dug it. It's in the flower bed, so it's going right along the footing of the house. And so I know they can't. I know it's going right down to about maybe a foot and a half down deep. Dug it out. There's this little head just snarling at me.
Oh, God.
So I'm thinking, hit and handle the shovel and throw it away. No.
They have thick skulls, huh?
I'm not trying to. I can't shoot a gun here either. I was brand new to the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to be shooting guns in my neighborhood. No, I'll shoot a gun. I don't care. Whatever.
Oh, your wife's Glock would have taken care of that in a heartbeat.
Well, a little 22 would have just popped. Nobody heard it. But whatever. So then I'm thinking,
crossbow.
I couldn't get the shovel. Wasn't doing the trick. Pitchfork.
Tang.
I need a pitchfork.
This shovel's just not working, man. I'm trying my hardest.
So now I pitchforked the thing.
Oh, God.
A couple, and it's still. I'm just trying to put out its. So.
Are you crying, Ben?
My wife.
Oh, no.
Was videotaping it.
Oh, no!
We have this on videotape somewhere.
God.
I don't know why we did that.
That's so... Yeah, you might want to destroy that footage.
I know. The ASPCA or whatever. Animal cruelty. And so finally, we're trying to get to come out for a reason. I think we ended up getting the hose to try... And I ended up just holding another one.
You
added
trapped
all of that.
You trapped an animal, hosed it down with water,
I did not
beat
trap
it with a shovel.
I did not trap it. It was in its thing. Its
hole.
So
you went to its home.
I took it.
Beat it with a shovel, and then sprayed it with water like a common.
Brian?
Thai prisoner. I don't know.
A Thai prisoner.
Like a Vietnamese captured.
Is that where they came up with a Thai fighter?
I don't know, but
I like some Thai food.
TIE fighters don't make any sense because with those big things on the side, you'll never see anything coming left or right. You're just like,
they got radar.
What the? Yeah, but I mean, the visual.
Can we just get rid of all that out this episode?
I feel like it's entertaining.
Right, who are we talking about?
We're talking about George Jones. 1954, January 19th. George records his first song. No money in this deal.
No? Okay.
At Starday Records.
What name?
Starday. Not Sade. Starday.
Starday. Tippy Tippy Day Day.
That's a good joke. There's more. What's the rest of it?
That's it.
No, there's more to the story here with No Money in This Deal. They recorded it in a living room in a house near the highway in Beaumont.
Don't make fun of that because we're basically doing that right now.
Well, yeah, like us, every time a truck goes by, you could hear it in the background, so they had to stop and then wait and then go back and record it again. Like they, so.
So it's like that episode that we had all those technical difficulties all cut up.
All of them? Which episode?
No, we did.
Shh. Yeah, don't say anything.
All right.
The curse of Gucci Mane will be dead if we leave it dead.
The curse of Gucci Mane.
1955, George has his first hit with Why, Baby, Why?
What do you mean a hit?
Hit.
It was played all over the
Yeah, they
nation.
played it on the radio. It wasn't just like he recorded a song.
Was that still a Tippy Tippy Day Day music recording?
It was a Star Day Records. That's correct. That same year, he toured as a cast member on the Louisiana Hayride. We talked about that show.
That was like the hip folks.
The hip version of the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
Yep. Young country, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
So George met and played shows with Elvis and Johnny Cash.
Okay.
There you go. Coming into it. Rubbing elbows with the elite. With Elvis's popularity exploding in 1956, they wanted George to record some like rockabilly type songs like that.
Oh, copy what Elvis was doing a little bit?
Check our last episode for the Elvis style. George reluctantly agrees to the songs to do some rockabilly songs. They were not well received. George explained, quote, I was desperate. When you're hungry and poor, with a house full of kids, you're going to do some things you ordinarily wouldn't do.
I think that's what got you into having the kids.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. He didn't want his name on the record either. So, quote, I didn't want my name on that rock and roll thing, so I told him, put Thumper Jones on it.
Seriously?
Yep. So he calls
Thumper Jones.
Thumper Jones.
That could be my porn name.
Thumper Jones. No, it's the road. It's your first pet's name and the road you grew up on. We've done this.
I thought it was Buck Naked.
Buck Naked. Yeah, I'm porn star. Buck Naked.
Nobody's ever thought of that.
Buck Naked. No, George was not buck naked. In 1957, he teamed up with Jeanette Hicks. They have a top 10 single, Yearnin'.
Yearnin'?
Yearnin'.
All right.
George is still playing the blood bucket circuit, they called it, the honky-tonk circuit where, like...
The blood bucket circuit? What's that mean?
I imagine, like, Roadhouse with, like, chicken wire and, like, fighting and stuff while you're trying to play your honky-tonks.
Blood bucket meaning there's just a bucket of blood?
Yeah, wiping up stage, you know.
All right.
Driving a 1940s Packard. He's got his name and his phone number on the side. Driving around doing this tour. He's like, give me a call. If you need...
I'll either play for you or I'll sell you some insurance.
I'll be at your show.
Whatever. I'm good either way.
1959, George gets his first #1 hit on Billboard country charts, White Lightning.
Oh, well, yeah, I didn't know that. So he had a top 10 song. He's still like
Blood
a
buckets.
little destitute.
Getting there. Yeah, grinding it out, really.
It wasn't, maybe they weren't, yeah, okay.
His songs are very sad and very depressing. And, very melodic and very not that good. Now, White Lightning's a little different, though. That's a little bit more upbeat. It was written by J.P. Richardson.
Yeah, White Lightning was it about a car?
I think it's about moonshine.
I know that's what the term...
No, I mean, I think the song is about... Do you remember who J.P. Richardson was, though? We talked about him.
Negative. It's a hard no on that, Brian.
He died in a plane crash.
Oh, is he with the Buddy Hollies?
He was the Big Bopper. Yep, he wrote the song White Lightning, which got George his first #1 hit.
Okay.
Trivia. There you go. George showed up to the recording session under the influence of alcohol and took 80 takes to get the vocals down.
80 takes?
80 takes.
Wow, you run out of tape after a while.
Let me rewind it again. Okay, one more time.
Take 75.
There's a truck coming by. Ah, God. Somebody go stop traffic for like 3 minutes and 12 seconds. That's all I need. 1962, George signs with United Artists, gets a real recording studio. His voice had grown deeper, and he was finding his own style at this point in time.
George Jones.
George has one of the biggest hits of his career. She thinks I still care. Damn, that was flat and off key so bad.
Well, you're no George Jones, Brian.
No, I can't do it. Because all I have stuck in my head is she thinks I steal cars. Because there's like a parody song about that. I think Weird Al did or somebody, or who knows. But she thinks I steal cars because the guy always had like money and different cars. She Thinks I Still Care is his big hit out of that career after he signed with United. George is gaining quite a reputation as a singer.
So maybe his first big hit, even though he had another big
another
one.
But that's like
with some person.
Well, yeah, that was no, the White Lightning was.
White
big,
Lightning.
But
Okay.
he didn't write that. He wrote "She Thinks I Still Care."
All right.
So now he's doing all of it. He's writing, he's singing, and performing, and all that stuff. And so he gets a reputation as a great singer and a hellraiser.
He was one of the drunks. I mean, that was his
Vice.
drug. Yes.
Merle Hagard recalls, quote, "I met him in the Blackboard Cafe in Bakersfield, California. He was already famous for not showing up or showing up drunk. He showed up drunk.
Right.
Get what you pay for right there." Continue, quote, "I was on stage, and he kicked the doors off the office door and said, 'Who the fuck is that?' It was one of the greatest compliments of my entire life when George Jones said I was his favorite country singer." You just imagine you're just playing and some drunk comes wheeling out the back and boom!
Who the fuck is...
I love you.
This guy.
You're the greatest country singer I've ever heard.
I need a hamburger.
No, Hamburger James. We'll get him. We need a Hamburger James. If you'd like to volunteer to be an intern for the show, just hit me up on social media.
Yeah.
You'll be Ben's Hamburger James.
Your phone's going to start blowing up any minute.
This one time, Porter Wagner, another country music artist. You heard of him? Porter Wagner. He's taking a piss, right? He's at the urinal. All of a sudden, this hand reaches around and yanks on his junk, like midstream, like trying to pull his junk off. It's George Jones. He's drunk, trying to twist off Porter's penis.
That's not gay. You're drunk. It's fine. It makes total sense.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Hey, look, I sat in some gum. That's not gum.
That's not gum. Ew. Like James Brown had the JBs and Merle Haggard had the Strangers, like their backup bands, George Jones had the Jones Boys. In the 1960s, who played bass for the Jones Boys?
Who cares? It's a bass player.
Johnny PayCheck played bass for the Jones
Oh, that's
Boys.
right. Yeah, well, I don't remember. All these guys. I'm a fan of them all, but I swear they kind of all occupy one small compartment in my brain.
It's a web outlaw country. It is.
Yeah, they all occupy a small...
So, Johnny PayCheck, check out our Johnny PayCheck episode. He played bass with George Jones and the Jones Boys until his career took off on his own in the 70s, in the near 70s, and then he...
So George Jones helped launch Johnny PayCheck.
That's correct.
I
think we even talked about
everything he did.
PayCheck episode. Now, Johnny PayCheck had a fun gig one time. George Jones was doing a tour, and they were driving through Texas, and the record company was like, "We really need somebody to kind of watch George because he's drinking a lot more and doing the drugs and stuff." And so Johnny PayCheck followed George Jones through Texas, like on a 4-hour road trip on a moped behind him to make sure that he stayed on track and didn't wheel off to any bars or anything like that. So,
is the lawnmower story in this deck of cards?
Oh my God! Don't get there. Yeah, we'll get there.
All right, I didn't want to ruin it. Okay,
you know too much about George Jones.
I want to hear the lawnmower story.
So yeah, Johnny PayCheck will follow you around on a moped if you pay him enough.
Not anymore.
Well, no, I think he's dead. Mid-1960s, for almost a decade, George recorded and toured constantly out there on the road. It's beginning to take his toll, though. George was drinking heavily, and he starts missing concerts completely or showing up playing abbreviated sets. That's how he gets the name No Show Jones.
Yeah, well, he's wasted.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So, 1967, George's been drinking and use of amphetamines on the road landed him in a neurological hospital for his drinking.
Neurological hospital?
Yeah, we call that rehab now. But
Okay.
in 1967, they called it a neurological hospital.
And you said
a psych ward.
He was doing amphetamines as well.
Amphetamines.
Very common, I think, in this group of dudes.
Oh, yeah.
And in that lifestyle, trying to go from show to show to town to town and bus and drive in car and play a concert. You can't go to sleep on the bus.
Nope.
You get drunk. You got to get going again the next morning. What do?
Got to get drunk
Do
and
some
I got to do
some poppers.
Well,
some uppers.
This one time after rehab, when George wanted a drink, he's going to get a drink. And as you alluded to, here we go. Wife Shirley tries to stop George from drinking, right? And she takes all the booze out of the house, gets rid of it all, and then she takes and hides all the keys to all of their cars,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then she leaves. She's like, I'm out of here. He can't get to
I gotta go to the store.
He can't get where they live. They're about 8 miles from the store, right? The nearest liquor store. So she's like, he's got no way to get there. I got no alcohol in the house. I'm going to go have a relaxing day. He's set. I'm out. Right.
She did her best.
George isn't going to walk 8 miles. She knew that too.
She did her best.
Right. So George walks to the window after she leaves. She pulls down the driveway. Bye, babe. See you, right? Stands there with hands on his hips, looks proudly over his property, and she definitely hid all the keys to the cars, but not the keys to the lawnmower. George recalls, quote, there, gleaming in the glow, was a 10-horsepower rotary engine under a seat, a key glistening in the ignition. I imagine top speed.
This is like the quote from him?
Yeah.
A key glistening in the ignition?
Yes.
He's a poet.
Now I got to start again. All right.
All right, everybody shut your eyes. Unless you're driving, don't shut your eyes.
That's right. I wonder. I don't have any music for this. I should.
And soak in the portrait that Brian's about to paint for you in the words of George Jones.
There, gleaming in the glow, was that 10-horsepower rotary engine under a seat, a key glistening in the ignition. I imagine the top speed for that old mower was 5 miles per hour. Might have taken me an hour and a half or more for me to get to that liquor store, but get there I did.
So he went to the liquor store.
He went off to the liquor store on a lawnmower.
And I feel like he bought 2 bottles of liquor because he drank one on the way home.
Well, right. My lawnmower only has a 1 cup holder. So.
I don't drink on that lawnmower.
I
can't. It's too bouncy.
I used to drink beer on the lawnmower, right? But you put it in the cup holder, and the vibrations shake all the carbonation out. So now I have to hold it.
Hell, I did see a dude. I was driving down the street. He's mowing his lawn, and he had a beer in one hand.
I love it.
My mom and dad's neighbors. And I'm like, nah, I just rather get the lawn mowed and then have my beers.
Sorry, Michelle. No, I really have to hold it now, and the steering's starting to go, so it's really exaggerated. So it's not. Anyway, here's the story. After being bailed out of jail, George's manager got him a gig for $2,500 in Houston.
Is that, what do you mean? He went to jail because of the lawnmower thing?
You know, it's around that time. I couldn't really link up.
I thought he got
dates
pulled over on the lawnmower.
Oh, well, he does heading back from the liquor store. He
Yeah.
gets pulled over, and that's.
Didn't he maybe stop and get something to drink at a bar or
gets
something?
DUI. No, what happens is in a minute he's going to marry Tammy Wynette, and she claims that happened when they were married together. And she's like, I drove down there to the bar, and sure enough, the lawnmower's parked by the front door, and George was sitting at the bar, and he said, look, fellas, my wife came in, and there she is, just like I told you. But that's like a big story to promote Tammy Wynette. They weren't even married then.
I believe what I choose to believe.
Yeah.
I believe what I've been programmed to believe.
Yeah, facts don't matter. How do you feel about it?
I just want to think about the world in a certain way and choose to believe everything that comes out of my
It happened this way.
bullshit brain.
The way the news told me.
Listen, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
That's what I'm trying to do, which is hard because there's a lot of good stories that are not true about him. So.
I don't.
All right, but again, here's another story. So the lawnmower story is done.
That's a fun story.
Yeah,
I love the idea of.
He got a DUI riding a lawnmower.
That's the American spirit. That's the spirit that beat the Japanese, Brian.
You're not wrong.
All right.
I'm gonna get a drink, and gosh darn it, I got a drink. So here's another story. After being bailed out of jail, George's manager, he's got a name, but I didn't write it down because it's like Poppy Davis or something like that. It's some weird name.
Poppy Davis, that's his name now.
Or producer.
That's where my now officially for the rest of the time of the world, Poppy Davis is
George Jones' manager.
Sure.
That's probably not
Poppy
even true.
Davis.
Anyway, this manager
on
gets
Jerry's couch.
That's how I knew you were going. Oh, let me sit down for just a minute. We flipped the cushion. He gets him a gig, right, for $2,500 in Houston. I told you about that.
Yeah,
right? So $2,500 worth going to Houston. George plays the gig, throws a big party afterwards, gets super drunk, and word gets back to George's manager that George flushed the remainder of the money down the toilet. He's like, wait, you flushed $2,500? The manager, quote, golly, George, I get you out of jail, I get you a gig, give you front money, buy you a new stageware, and you go and flush $2,500 down the toilet?
Yep.
George said, that's a goddamn lie. It wasn't but $1,200 I flushed.
Well, probably after you paid for the party and the booze.
Right.
And some hamburgers.
And you know what? At that point right now, we're going to take a break. We'll call it 1976 in the world of George Jones.
He's flushing money down toilet.
Flushing money down turlets, and we'll be right back.
This is my favorite break music right here, I think. It sounds like break music.
Break dancing music.
Fading in. Fade a little bit more. Fade.
And we're back. That was an exciting break. We had a long discussion about education and the failing education system in America.
Yeah.
Isn't that
And
great?
guess what? Whose fault is it, Brian?
Parents!
100%.
If your kid's dumb, that's on you.
100%.
T-shirts are going to be made.
You cannot expect your kids to be the best and brightest of the world and rely on teachers to do it for you.
No.
You gotta be a part of that equation.
Got to. And
Got
don't
to.
blame the teachers. It's the parents and the teachers trying to make a good kid, not the parents and the kids trying to blame a bad teacher.
Parents.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Back in the day, my teacher, right or wrong, called my parents and said I was screwing around. It was my fault.
You can swear we're on the internet.
It was my fault.
we have a
It was
parental
even if
advisory.
it wasn't my fault. It was my fault.
It says explicit next to our podcast. You can swear it's okay.
Damn it!
Well, not that swear.
I think I heard an F-bomb on Sunny in Philadelphia the other day.
Jeez, Carlin, take it easy. 1967, George Carlin, George Jones teams up with Tammy Wynette.
We've heard of her.
Yeah, they did shows and tours together. They were both at the peak of like their careers, and so the record companies were like, "Team them up. He's sad, she's happy. People will love it."
Yin yang.
So George's home life was not happy though. He took a little fancy to young Tammy there.
I think he ran through a couple women in his life. I mean, he even from the very beginning, he was married for a year.
He gets married 4 times. We'll get there. 1968, George divorces Shirley.
Don't call me Shirley.
Surely you can't be serious. Tammy Wynette is married to a songwriter and opening act for her, a guy named Don Chappell.
Don Chapel.
So
Where'd
Don
they get married at, Brian?
Don's Chapel.
In the chapel.
Going to the chapel and Don's gonna get married. So they go to Don and Tammy's house. George goes over there for dinner one time, right, for supper. And while Tammy was cooking, her and Don get into an argument. You know, because when you have people over, it's stressful and you want it to go well. And you're like, well, you put out the cheese. Well, I didn't know you wanted to put out the cheese right now. How are you going to put out the cheese when you told me to put out the cheese? I don't want to. So Don calls Tammy a son of a bitch, which is
Why?
technically wrong because you could have just called her a bitch. You didn't need the son of a in front of it.
Why was he was taking the dude's side?
What? No, Don, his
Oh,
wife.
the husband.
The husband looks at his
Not
wife
George.
and goes,
Not
"Put-"
George.
Right, no. George, upon hearing this, jumped up from his chair, puts his hand under the table, flips it over.
Oh, good table flip over is always
He's like,
fun.
oh my God. And then proceeds to profess his love for Tammy right there on the spot.
Was she in on this?
No. Like, you call her a son of a bitch? I love you, Tammy. You're the best ever. And nothing will ever. Flip this table over. Rah!
So they hadn't eaten yet?
No.
I'll wait until after dinner. I'm so hungry right now.
Hamburgers.
I know. I need a snack.
Hamburgers. 1969. Tammy and George get married.
Good for them kids.
They're known as Mr. and Mrs. Country Music.
I thought his last name was Jones.
Well, yeah, but, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Country
Oh,
Music.
it's something they, okay. All right, I get it.
I don't think there's legal documents involved. They even ended their concert with a song version of their wedding vows.
That's so stupid.
Wouldn't that be great to go see Tammy
Somebody should
Wynette
be flipping a table over right now.
and George Jones, and you're like, hey, encore! And they're like, I promise to love you forever. No, I promise to not
All right.
flip over tables.
That's so dumb.
No,
Love is dumb.
What I thought is like,
Showing your affection for another human being is just stupid. Stop it, people.
If
Just
I were
get
to
over
sing a
it.
song on stage with my wife, it would be, she got the gold mine, I got the shaft. Split it on down the middle, but they gave her the better half.
That's Smokey and the Bandit guy, Jerry
Jerry Lee Lewis. Whatever. Who's the guy on
Not Jerry Lee
Scooby-Doo?
Lewis.
Little Mary Sunlight.
Yeah.
She's all right with me. Little Mary Sunlight.
Oh.
Everything I need. If I just keep singing, they're sure
The
to find me.
Smokey and the Bandit guy, right? He was the Smokey.
Jerry
Dingleberry.
Jerry.
Don't think about it.
I can't. It's gone. I'm stuck on Lewis now. It's not Jerry Lewis.
Don't think about it. Joan. Jerry. All right. No. All right. Let it go.
It'll come.
Let it go.
to us.
It'll pop. It'll just pop in your head.
1973. George is still drinking, partying, and fighting.
He's a fighter too.
Oh, he got into some bar fights there.
Yeah. Possum like to throw down.
A little bit. He had a move where if you punch him, he'd fall down and play dead. And then when you went to check on him, he'd just scratch in the face.
And give you Lyme's disease.
Exactly. From the ticks on him, not from him directly.
They were like his superpower.
Right. Shit, I almost had it. I was like,
You're
Jerry.
still thinking about it too
Oh, it's going to be in my head.
I know.
It got real tense between Tammy and George, though. They divorced in 1974.
That wasn't that long.
But they continue to work together, though, from time to time.
Well, they were still making money.
Jerry Reed.
Jerry Reed.
We were never going to get by this if we didn't.
Brian was just slowly flipping cards.
My brain's chugging.
Jerry Reed.
It's all up in here, baby. I've been saying it for years. It's all up in here somewhere. I'm pointing to my head.
As he chugs down an Oktoberfest beer.
Yeah.
Pumpkins.
Marzen. Oh, I never explained. Marzen is because of what? You got to start it in March, and then by this time of year it's ready to drink?
I think so.
You're the beer guy?
I think that's what I heard. Yeah, you start fermenting in lagers in March with all the leftover. And, you had some leftover grains because you want them to go bad.
Right.
But, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. That's what we'll say the story is. Hey, do you know this?
What?
I just read an article that when you go buy, like, pumpkin pie filling,
Okay.
apparently the Food and Drug Administration people play a little hard and fast with the definition of pumpkins. It's not pumpkin.
What is it?
It's like a squash.
Oh, okay.
But the pumpkin pie filling is not a pumpkin. It's a very particular kind of squash that lends itself well to being processed and canned, giving you the consistency you want. So they make it specifically to be pumpkin pie filling. It's not a pumpkin. So, I mean, pumpkin is a gourd, is a squash, is a pumpkin. Whatever. It's all the same thing.
What's real? How can I know?
I know, right? And but pumpkin pie taste really has nothing to do with the fruit that you're using.
Yeah. So you're telling me I've never really had pumpkin pie?
Unless you went out and cut your own pumpkin from the vine.
I did not.
No, right? I mean, either.
We did go to the pumpkin patch the other day, though. We went to 3 of them because, my God, one was overpriced. It's like the one on the edge of the Ann Arbor, so it's like city folk. Oh, look, a turkey. Oh, there's a duck. And so, like, pumpkins are like $30.
Yeah, they'll do that because you go to the pumpkin patch
good
for an experience.
You if you can. Yeah, good for you if you can sell that to city slickers for $30. But I'm from the suburbs / almost edge of country. I know pumpkins don't cost that much.
Well, and I know they have them 2 for $8. Monster pumpkins.
You can go to Meijer.
Kroger.
Buy some
at Meijers is.
It was a big pumpkin year, right? Those pumpkins are huge, man.
So we went when our kids were young. Quaint. Need some pictures for this new thing called Facebook.
You got to say sidebar, or I won't know to include this in the sidebar episode.
Oh, sidebar.
Sidebar.
Is that going to be your search term?
Yep.
So let the Google AI find all of our sidebars by the term sidebar.
Correct.
So, anyways, we go to this pumpkin patch. They had cider, donuts, goats, like you said, turkeys and ducks and a hayride and all that crap. You had to buy like tickets for all the hayrides, which is fine. I don't expect just to show up for free and buy a $2 pumpkin, but their pumpkins were by the pound.
Yes.
And so you go out to the field, you can pick your own pumpkins. They had some already pre-picked or whatever, but to get the full, I'm gonna hunt my pumpkin.
The experience of hunting down a wild pumpkin.
And so we get out we're kind of walking out there. We're on our way out to where you go get the pumpkins. And we see a family of, some kids, some young parents.
Uh-oh.
And they're weighing their pumpkins So you see, it's like $2 a pound for a pumpkin.
Jeez.
Well, I have no idea what a pumpkin weighs. I've never really thought about it in terms of pounds of a pumpkin.
Yeah, what's the gross weight of a pumpkin? Go.
I don't know.
Quick, draw a tree that represents all trees. Go.
That's an oak tree, Brian.
No, what about a palm tree, Ben? Or a pine tree?
Right,
Christmas tree, Ben.
That's
Those
wrong.
are all trees.
So,
Tree of
anyways,
life.
I see the sign $2 a pound or whatever it was. I can't quickly think about how much a pumpkin might weigh.
It's a lot
how
of
many
math.
pumpkins I got to get.
Yep.
But I walk out and I see these
Like times
people
5.
like weighing 4 pumpkins. It's coming to like 55 pounds.
Yep.
Now I can do the math.
Yep.
$100 of them. So we let the kids all get these little tiny pumpkins. You know, they're just like little softball size, maybe football size, not basketball size.
No.
Pumpkins. We're like, all right, check that off the list. We got a pumpkin and a pumpkin patch.
Back in the van, everybody.
Drove directly to Kroger. Like, yep, 2 for $5. Now I just bought them yesterday. They're 2 for $8.
That's what we did. We went to a local farm, quote unquote, around here. I mean, I think again, it's like a city slicker farm. They got 3 fields and some stuff for display to show. Hey, we got a cow and a turkey and a duck. And then that's what it was. It was like they had representative pumpkins. So like your pumpkin was like a foot tall and so wide it was in the $30 category.
Oh,
and then,
my gosh.
This is in the $20 category. So like now it's subjective. I'm like, okay.
Oh, I can't afford 30. I can afford 20.
Right. We rolled down to the other farm stand, Jenny's Farm Stand. I'll give them a plug down there outside Ann Arbor, and $8 a pumpkin, and they're massive, like basketball-sized pumpkins. They're bigger.
Yeah,
they're huge.
I got 4 pumpkins for $16 at Kroger, and they're like bigger than a basketball.
Yep. This is a good year for pumpkins.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, pumpkins.
Pumpkins. Still, you're drinking pumpkin beer.
This is going to be well into November when this comes out.
Well,
Not that it matters. It's evergreen content, everybody.
Yeah.
You can listen to this any time of year. Happy summer. Get some flip-flops and a pina colada.
Yeah, and sit by the pumpkin on your beach. Sit on the beach by your pumpkin.
Right, and to bring it back around, much like a lot of teachers in summer, George was falling apart physically and emotionally.
In the summer?
No, well, by the summer, so he
Okay.
needs a break. Needs a break, basically.
Break time.
Years of drinking and cocaine made him unreliable and unpredictable.
Well, he was that the whole time, but now it's with the cokes.
Becoming more of a thing there.
Yeah.
He'd disappear for days at a time, missing recording sessions and concerts completely, a.k.a. again, No-Show Jones. Kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde sort of thing. He's got George Jones and No-Show Jones.
So it was the drugs and the alcohol.
So far.
Yeah.
Between 1977 and 1978, Tammy's house was broken into 15 times.
By him?
Never says.
Oh, what'd they take?
Words like slut and pig were written on mirrors and TV screens.
He's just drunk. That's awesome.
October 19...
I mean, it's wrong. It's wrong.
Oh, it's completely wrong, and it's not funny now, because October 1978, Tammy is abducted by a masked gunman.
Really?
Taken into an isolated spot, beaten, strangled with her own pantyhose, and finally thrown from a moving car.
She die?
She was bruised, hysterical, and had a broken jaw, but she did not die.
Holy cow, I never heard that.
Nope. George denies any kind of involvement in the kidnapping. He's like, it was not me. No, I didn't do that. I'll
he
drink
said
and
he
party,
didn't do
but
it.
I didn't.
I did not hire that guy.
Yeah, he didn't say that. He said,
right.
He said, I didn't do me? I had nothing personally to do with that.
I did not touch her. I did not hit her in the face twice.
I never met him before. That's a tricky word, before. I never met him before. December 1978, George owes money for missing all those shows that he was paying. Like concert promoters would sue him and stuff. And then he owed Tammy $36,000 in child support. So more than $1 million in debt. George declares bankruptcy.
I declare bankruptcy. You gotta do more than just say it, Michael.
Later that month, George got arrested for assaulting his girlfriend at the time.
This guy's a real piece of work, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe abducted his wife, ex-wife, beat her up a little bit. Maybe wrote slut on her mirror in lipstick.
And pig. Women really get triggered by that pig word. You call them pig.
I can't.
I do too. I
ain't the C word.
Well, no, right? But again, this is cultural. So in England, it's good. Here, it's not. February 1979, it's not good. George is homeless and living out of his car, and he weighs apparently less than 100 pounds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's quite sickly. December 1979, George enters Hillcrest Psychiatric Hospital in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, it can't be too bad. You still got a little stack of cards there.
Yeah, no, we're good.
All right, no, yeah.
We took a break, right? We're good.
No. But no, you're like ways. I feel like a lot of times
more stuff's gonna happen.
Yeah. We have more George Jones.
No, yeah,
he
hasn't made it. He hasn't made it yet.
Yeah.
Sorry. A lot of times there's like this peak, and then they fall. Oh no, George is like a slow fall, and then he'll peak. So it's kind of the backwards. December 1979, George enters psychiatric Birmingham, Alabama. He gets released in January 1980, and then goes and gets 6-pack of beer. First thing out of rehab. Like, the one thing, guys, they don't have in rehab? Beer.
Alcohol.
Yeah, they don't have that there, so I needed to get some. George records his biggest hit.
He stopped loving her today.
Yes! Nailed it, buddy. I love it when you do that.
He placed the wreath upon her.
His first number one hit in 5 years. 5 years, 5 years, 5 years, 5 years. It receives 3 Country Music Association Awards and 1 Grammy, and was named CMA's Vocalist of the Year, George Jones.
He died. Yeah, that's a sad song.
It's so sad, but that was kind of his MO, man.
Yeah.
That's what he did, was put out the sad, depressing sort of
a lot of
melodic
them did then, though, too. There's a lot of that then. I mean, it's celebrated today. It's fine. It's great.
Well, here's the thing, right? I just told you got all those country awards and
I
all
like
that
Jerry
stuff.
Reed songs. I'm sorry.
Right. Little Mary Sunlight, she's all right with me. Little Mary, the dog and that kid are going to find me at some point. Little Mary Sunlight, I'll just sing into this vent. She's everything I need. I don't want to mess around. Yeah.
Most of Brian's historic music knowledge comes from old Scooby-Doo
episodes. They used to scare me. That's scary. I was afraid of real estate developers for years.
Dude, they're not on any of the Netflix, Hulu, anything.
That's because it has to do with witchcraft, and the current administration will not tolerate that.
Oh, bullshit.
Can't have witchcraft in here.
It should be on Netflix. I want to watch all the old Scooby-Doos.
I feel like there's a Hanna-Barbera website you can go to that you can stream free Hanna-Barbera cartoons, which I think was Scooby-Doo, right?
Oh, I'll have to check that out for shizzles.
Yeah, because now, how many times did they remake Scooby-Doo, right?
Oh, there's been so many versions of them.
That Scooby-Doo, they had...
Where do you think Marvel came out with that idea?
Josie and the Pussycats. They had the one Speed Buggy.
Oh, no, I thought you were just talking about Scooby-Doo. Like, there was the original, like, Scooby-Doo. And then there was a Scooby-Doo's they had with the celebrities that came on. Then there was the pup named Scooby-Doo.
No, yeah,
and then there was like the newest Scooby-Doo's where they're all kids, like the Muppet Babies, but Scooby-Doo.
Scooby Babies.
Yeah, and then there were movies.
Scooby-Doo-Bebop. No, man, I was talking about how many times they redid the concept of a bunch of hippie kids driving around solving mysteries with a weird third party.
Wasn't there even one with a shark?
Yeah, there was. I was like something Jaw. Jabberjaw.
Jabberjaw.
Was a big shark. He's Curly from the Three Stooges.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched all those,
and then Speed Buggy was a stuttering buggy who was a talking car.
Wasn't there a Captain Caveman?
Captain Caveman! And he was just like a hairball traveling around with a bunch of hot chicks, and they played in a band.
Yeah.
Then there was Josie and the Pussycats, which was a bunch of hot chick bands who drove around and solved mysteries. So
I don't like that one.
And again, it always comes down to crooked real estate developers. Always. I would have gotten away with it too and made a big profit selling this land if it wasn't for you kids.
Yes, crooked real estate developers.
Always. Well, didn't go so well for George either, dealing with other people. He gets hospitalized 2 more times. 2 more times, George said, quote, "The world will see a big difference in me."
I swear.
This time it's going to take. A few weeks later,
mean it this time.
George is arrested in Franklin, Tennessee.
For drinking and driving. And drugs.
Drinking and drugs. May 26, 1982. George is driving his 1982, apparently brand new, Cadillac on I-65 outside of Brentwood. George is weaving all over the roads. They pull him over, find a half bottle of whiskey, and a homemade license plate out of cardboard that said Possum 3.
He made a fake license plate?
Yep. Can't drive a car without a license plate.
Brilliant. And he personalized it.
Yep.
He customized his...
Now, here's one that happens. There's a cameraman at the scene, and George didn't really need the publicity. So, as it is, it's better to hoof than the one being hoofed. So he hoofs the cameraman right in the pills.
You take his camera?
No, but
did that get to video? Did I get to make the news? Is it on?
There's a
TMZ?
picture. There's a picture that you can see that starts out on George Jones, and then just all of a sudden, it's just his head. So
a photograph, not a video camera.
1982, dude.
They had video cameras.
Yeah, but then there had been 3 dudes to carry it, and then the thing for the tape, and then the signal, and it's just
10 minutes worth of battery life on it.
Right.
All right.
So he hoofs his cameraman, right, and George posts $500 bond, and off he went.
All right.
Once again,
got some more beer.
Better to be the one hoofing than the one being hoofed. George and his girlfriend, Nancy Sepulveda, were driving out on I-55.
Where was she from, does it say?
Jackson, Mississippi.
Was her dad the one that made that dam out in California?
I see Sepulveda stuck in my head, too, and I didn't have time to dig into
There's
it
Sepulveda
deeper.
Dam?
I feel like that's a thing.
I think it's a thing.
All
right, maybe some of our listeners could do a little... Where'd that guy go that was supposed to fact-check all of our stuff? Githron.
Yeah.
Get on it,
he only
Githron.
liked the British rockers and stuff. So
come on, mate. That's British, right?
Be a good cunt.
All right. Githron, you're on this.
Yeah, right. George and Nancy are out driving on I-55 south of Jackson, Mississippi. They get clocked going over 91 miles an hour. Highway patrol pulls them over, notices white powder on the floor mats. They call out the canine unit. The dog hits on a substance on the floor mats. Police said, quote, it was a very small amount, but it will be prosecuted as a felony. Nancy was charged with speeding. George also got a public drunkenness charge along with a felony and coke possession.
Okay, so it's probably cocaine.
The next day, George was hospitalized again in Birmingham, Alabama for drug and alcohol abuse.
He was just going after it.
Well, get after it, eh? If you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. March 1983, George marries his third wife, Nancy Sepulveda. So now him and Nancy are married, basically.
Sounds hot.
Nancy didn't drink or do drugs. So that was a good thing about Nancy, right? George credits her with saving his life. Mostly sober for the rest of the 80s because of him and Nancy, right? George had some...
Leave it to the woman to ruin his fun.
George had some more hits. Same Old Me, Tennessee Whiskey. That's a good one. And I Always Get Lucky With You.
Is Tennessee Whiskey the one that the dude sings now, made it famous again?
I feel like the...
Harry dude. And I think...
Toby Keith?
No. And then...
Garth Brooks?
No. None of the ones it's a newer guy. People are screaming at their iPhones right now.
Chet Adkins?
No.
Damn it.
But
I read so many names when it comes to
George
Jones.
But I think that kid from the Jimmy Fallon show sang it with him too.
Oh God.
Justin Timberlake.
Okay.
I think he sang Tennessee Whiskey.
Well, I don't know. It's possible.
I wonder if that's the George Jones song. I don't know.
It is. There's a lot of people who credit George Jones as being an inspiration and oh my God, he's so good at this, X, Y, and Z.
Well, you got to call back to your roots and your homies back in the day, even if you never heard a George Jones song.
No, but I mean, they really did though. I mean, he's got that. People liked him even though he kept fucking up because he was relatable. He's like, oh, George Jones is like me. Keeps making mistakes, but he keeps trying.
Keeps beating his wife and he's doing tons of drugs and driving drunk.
He's same as I am.
He's my man. These are my people.
This is what I do. I can
He's
totally relate and support this.
Possibly kidnapped or had somebody hired to kidnap his wife and
may or may not
tried to kill her.
Abducted his wife.
Threw out a car.
Tossed her out a moving
I
vehicle.
get that.
I can relate to this story. Luckily,
spirits.
He had Nancy, though. Because Nancy had a positive impact on George. She managed his career. She cleaned up all his finances, so all that taxes and missing gigs and
she
stuff
sounds
like
like a bitch.
She kept him away from the drug dealers. And,
Stick in the mud.
Yeah, well, drug dealers. They didn't like that, so they kidnapped Nancy's daughter in retaliation.
We're going out of business without George here, Nan.
I'm not laughing at the kidnapping, but I could just see that. Excuse me, you realize he supports a lot of people in this industry. You're taking away a whole business arm from our venture.
You shut down an entire industry.
My kids need shoes, Nancy.
You're going to tell my kids they can't have shoes?
Just look at them, Nancy. Tell them they can't have shoes. George quits the cocaine, but the drinking...
It's not even a drug.
I mean, he just, like, quitting cocaine was easy for him, he said. But the drinking, it was deep inside of his need bucket.
I've heard that cocaine's not nearly as addictive as alcohol.
Apparently sugar's more addictive than cocaine, which I get that.
Listen to this podcast is addicting, Brian.
It is. It's like sugar for the ears. It's sweet, sweet ear candy.
Some nose clams.
If we do a good enough job, get you an eargasm.
Okay.
I took it too far. All right, now he's out. Fall 1983, George goes on a drunken rampage in Birmingham, Alabama. Ends up in a straitjacket at Hillcrest Psychiatric Hospital again.
He's been there before.
Well, they know him. They're like, oh, give him number 4 coat. March 1984, geez, Doc! George plays his first sober show in a long while.
Probably sucked.
George was super nervous, but his singing was flawless.
So he could do well.
Yep, that's what
sober.
There was a critic there, and he's like, he looked nervous as hell, flop sweat, but nailed every single note, dude. Just crushed it.
All right, good for George.
So he started going back to playing the No-Show Jones shows that he no-showed for free. So he's like, hey, if I missed you the first time, then I owe you a show, and I'm here to pay that debt.
No way. Really?
Yep.
All right, good for George.
He's got this remorse and redemption quality that I think is, I mean, don't beat your wife, but, try and make it up.
Do what you can, I guess.
Such bad advice. Again, not laughing at spousal abuse.
So what'd he
but
do? Go to Tammy's house and clean her mirrors off? Like,
right.
Sorry, I brought my Windex and a little rag here.
I was never here. 15 times, writing bitch and pig on your mirrors. 1990, George releases his last studio album, You Ought to Be Here With Me, with the single Hell Stays Open All Night Long.
That's the name of a song?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was not well received.
No, I don't think I've heard of that one.
Yeah. 1992, George is inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame by Randy Travis.
Where is that at? Do you know? Is it Nashville, maybe?
I feel like it's in Nashville.
I wouldn't, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't pick the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to be in Cleveland.
That's true.
I mean, I know it is, but whatever. That's
pretty
fine.
sure Nashville, though, on that one. I think it's somewhere around the Opry in the Ryman Auditorium.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
I feel like it. 1998. Sorry, Michelle. George got his own show on the Nashville Network. The George Jones Show.
TNN.
Correct. He hosted and interviewed country stars of the day. Like, sitting here with me is Garth Brooks.
And he's already been done. He's done singing. Well, I mean, he's done albuming.
Yeah, the last studio album is done.
Yeah.
But he still performs, around. So, March 1999, George gets into a one-car accident near Tennessee.
A one-car accident.
That's exactly what it said, too. Like, a bunch of articles. It's like, George was involved in a one-car or solo accident. Like, what? He lost control of his car and hit a bridge overpass.
While drinking.
Of course.
I can't do this anymore, man. My head's about to explode. My whole life sucks. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. My dad just died. We just killed Bambi. I'm out here getting my ass kicked, and every time I drive down the road, I want to jerk the wheel into a goddamn bridge abutment.
I want to watch that movie now. I'm going to have to get that. And the kids are going to. I'm making my kids watch all the old movies.
You have to.
We watched Rambo the other day.
That's where half the references come from.
My kids got it. I made them watch The Holy Grail. I made my one boy watch Rambo.
It's merely a flesh wound. Me. George suffers a collapsed lung, a ruptured liver. That's probably not due to the accident, though. Probably from the drinking.
That was pre-ruptured. What little bit of his liver still worked.
2002, he receives the National Medal for the Arts. 2012, he gets the greatest honor, a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award.
Huh.
April 26, 2013, George Jones dies at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville, Tennessee.
2013.
Yeah, with irregular blood pressure, and he had a fever like the whole week.
How old was he?
Up to it. I don't know.
He's born in the 30s. What year was that?
Oh, God.
70?
Hold on.
Like 85, 86?
2013, 1931, so 70, 13, 14, 81.
Okay.
81-year-old George Jones dies.
All the drugs and alcohol, pretty darn good.
Well, let's recap. George recorded over 900 songs. He charted more than any other musical artist, almost all of them on the country charts, at 150 songs, including 13 number one hits. George sang duets with about 54 different of the biggest names in country, like Randy Travis, Loretta Lynn, Hank Williams Jr., Buck Owens, Jerry Lee Lewis, Dolly Parton, Ricky Skaggs, Marty Stewart, Charlie Daniels, B.B. King, Keith Richards, Alan Jackson, Waylon Willie, and Johnny Cash, and more.
Wow. Yeah.
He was the king of duets. And a quote from George Jones himself, quote, "I don't see the point of this if there's no plan to sell the land. Why even do this?"
That's his quote.
George Jones, everybody.
All right, George Jones. You know, this has happened more than once with our subjects. You really want, like you said, he had a redemption quality to him.
Yeah, remorseful is what I like to see in this stuff. Like,
but
if you feel bad about it and try to make amends, then...
Am I a dick because
yes.
I can't
yes, you
forgive him for some of the things? I'm now, like, anti-George. You're beating your...
Can't beat your wife. I mean, that's the way, right? I'll ruin music for everybody. I'll wreck it.
If you want to get... Maybe that's as bad as getting drunk and driving as he did, which I don't find as terrible as beating your wife.
No, beating your wife is worse.
You can kill people like that. I mean...
Yeah, but beating your wife is worse.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
All right.
But drinking and driving is pretty bad, too.
I guess. But at a certain point, if you're famous enough, you don't need to drink and drive.
Especially
what I mean?
If your wife's taking all your keys away.
Well, hide the lawnmower keys, ladies. Let's just learn that.
I hate the lawn. No, actually, I mow the lawn all the
I
time.
like mowing my lawn.
I need new tires for my lawn.
I was a big Hank Hill fan. I just need someone to come go through my whole mower because it's got a hydrostatic clutch I don't know how to deal with.
No, so you got George Jones. He's doing his thing.
Jones.
He did it forever. He lived quite a long life. I didn't know he was that old.
Yeah.
I guess you're getting to the end. I'm thinking, holy shit, he's deep into the teens here.
This one goes out to a guy. We did George Jones because it was a request from a bunch of people, but mainly this dude, Whoa Nelly, at Crackhead on Twitter. Crackhead. Well, it's just spelled differently. C-R-A-K-R. Crackerhead.
Crackerhead.
Yeah, but he's like, hey, man, listen to David Allen Coe podcast. Why not one on George Jones? And it's like, hey, man, do it on George Jones. And like, hey, man.
There you go. Thank
George
you.
Jones.
What was his name? Willie Nugget?
Willie. Whoa Nelly.
Whoa Nelly Willie.
Whoa Nelly.
There's no Willie in there. No, yeah.
Just Whoa Nelly. So, yeah.
Oh, thank
Whoa
you
Nelly.
to Whoa Nelly.
Yeah, and if you guys have suggestions you want us to do a particular person, we will.
Oh, we'll look into it.
Well, I always look into them, right?
Oh, we got to have a little crime. I mean, we've stretched the definition of crime a little bit on a few of them.
Crimes were committed in every episode we've put out. So that's the qualification.
All right.
But because we said who told us to do the episode, we're gonna sort of head our way out of here this week. Hit us up on all the social medias at Crime and Music on Twitter, Crime and Music on Facebook and Instagram, www.crimemusic.com.
Can't they just make one thing that's all the same?
It is actually. It's
wolf.com.
No, it's like wave with two V's, wavve.link/crime and music will get you every single possible platform of crime and music imaginable.
What? That sounds like a Christmas present right there. Box it up, baby.
Hey, we're right around that time. Start early, folks.
Yeah, get there. Do we have a P.O. box that people can send us presents?
No, we should work on that, though.
All right after I get that...
homework.
Yeah, homework.
All right, guys, go do your homework, which is to tell somebody in Wyoming or Vermont to listen to Crime and Music. Other than that, have a wonderful day, and like the song says, never trust a big butt and a smile.